Hello anybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie. I am Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and in the last episode we finished up as much as Freezeezy Peak as we could, and in today's episode we are going on to the 6th world, Gobi's Valley. Not that I needed to tilt the camera up to the sign like that, but that's just why I decided to go. Anyway, 6th world of the game. You'll find one more move in here, Banjo. That was very brief of him to say. So immediately as we come into Gobi's Valley, we're going to be dropped off in this little oasis, even though this is a desert level, and it's going to drop us in this nice little grassy area, and there's going to be a shifting sandland slope that'll take us up to the main area, or like the main action of not shifting sandland, Gobi's Valley. Wow, that's going to be a thing today. Of course, as you saw back there, we already got the Jinjo that was thankfully right behind us as we started. And we're going to get a couple of feathers up here because it is worth our time, because this is going to be another flying level, or at least another flying heavy level. Anyway, we're going to stand in the shade of this tree, and let's see. Chunky wants me. I'm shriveling up.
How's your nuts, Bark Breath?
Kazooie, will eggs and feathers help?
No! Need water! Help! So here we have Trunker. Kazooie is a very rude, very insensitive character, and it seems like she gets worse and worse as the game goes on. Like, that was absolutely... And another, of course, not so family-friendly comment, or writing by Rare. But that's just the way it goes. I'm going to turn the music up a little bit because I can't hear it very well. I like the track here very much. I like Gobi's Valley. I really like this as a desert level. I feel it's very well themed, I feel it's very well designed, and I feel it is fun. But rather than tell you, I will just continue on in showing off the level as I've been doing. Now, there are a lot of moving slopes and there are a lot of hot sands, which as we learned in the last episode, that's actually sand eels in there that don't want us going in their sand. So we're actually going to get these boots, we're going to put on the boots, because we want to get these notes that are down here. I don't really like how they put some of the notes off to the edges like this, around the outer ridges of some hazardous areas like swamps or hot sand. Not hot sand, eel-infested sand, even though there's hotness. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they went with sand eels of all things. I wonder if that was intentionally silly. I mean, it seems like it. But anyway, because they went with cold water in Freezeezy Peak, they didn't go with like ice piranhas or anything, and they could have easily just made it like hot sand as a picture. Anyway, if we wanted to fly around this level, the game, Gobi's Valley actually offers you the opportunity to do so fairly early on. Now, like a lot of levels in the game, this level does have a centerpiece, and the centerpiece is around there, but we're not going to be doing that for a while. Not for a little while. We're going to probably be doing my usual method of going around the outer edges before tackling what's in the middle of the level.
My nose is all blocked up.
So we're gonna stuff more stuff in there.
Hey, that tickles.
And with that, and the sneeze blows Banjo away and he falls to his death. Of course, not really.
Ah, that cleared Jinxie's nose. Come on in.
Oh my god, giant hand. This is a slapper, I think. You can actually destroy these, and when you do destroy them, oh geez, that is gory. I didn't always... When I was younger, I used to just run away from those, I think. Or at least there was another enemy that I ran away from. Anyway, we come in here, and one of the big themes of Gobi's Valley is that we're going to be going in a lot of giant buildings with expansive insides, and this is a very nice feel. It gives a very exploration-themed feeling to this level, and they actually kind of do something similar in Donkey Kong 64 with Angry Aztec. I like what Rare does with their desert levels. Instead of going for like the wasteland kind of desert, they go for like the ancient temples and ruins in some mysterious exploration then, rather than, okay, I already got that Jinjo. That statue will burp again? I'm not doing a burp, but he will. But I like what they go for with, rather than, it's like they go into spelunking rather than just trekking across hot, burning sands. And I mean, a lot of desert levels, you could say, have ruins and stuff. By the way, that's our first Jiggy for the level. You could say a lot of games do the ruins approach when they do desert levels, but oh god. Ah, slapper. Disgusting. Anyway, You could say a lot of games do that. They take the ruins approaches. Mario Desert Worlds usually have pyramids or something and ruins of some kind that you're running along in underground sections, but I just really like it how they do it in this world. I really like the shifting sands that you see up here and the burning sands. This, even though it's a desert and deserts are usually associated with burning and death and ruin and desolation, I really like it because this feels like it feels like a living area. I'm actually gonna go back for a moment and not go up to where the thing was. Not to where the notes were, up to that little centerpiece area. I actually want to, well, I'm not gonna wait for that magic carpet, so I'm gonna jump for it, because I actually want to start flying around a little bit, because one of the tasks I want to do next will require flying. This world also is interesting in that it has a fair number of NPCs, fair number of voices that will be going on this time around. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to come up here and we use the Beak Bomb move. Interestingly, if you do this world before Freeze Easy Peak and don't have the Beak Bomb move, you won't be able to get this Jiggy. So remember how we need a move from this world to complete Freeze Easy Peak? Well, you need a move from Freeze Easy Peak to complete Shifting Sandland. So no matter what you do, you're going to have one Jiggy in one of these worlds that you're going to need to come back for after you go to the other world. And I still don't like that. Of course, doing that makes it easier to classify this as the 6th world rather than the 5th world. So I guess that's the case. Anyway, time for racism.
Hello, my friend. I am Ruby. Can I be of some help? No?
We're looking for treasure, Pipe Boy.
Very good. I see some up there. It's yours if you can get it. Yes?
I'm gonna take this Mumbo token that it's obviously not his because Mumbo tokens belong to Mumbo and they've just been scattered. We've already established that long ago. Anyway, what we have to do to please him and his little awesome pet, his little pink thing, I think its name is Toots. I think his amazing pet is we gotta go give him eggs. Always remember that you can pick up eggs that are bouncing around if you're ever running low. And now that that's done...
Ah, 1,000 thanks, my friend. My friend Histop will now help you with your request.
He also has one of the biggest talking icons in the game because of his turban. His very interesting shaped turban. Anyway, that's a fun little bit where you just climb up there and eat the Jiggy. And jumping back down, thankfully we don't take damage from falling. Oh, I never noticed his little pet sang along too. Anyway, now that that part is done, we will never come in here again, and we will leave him to live out the rest of his days in this little temple thing. Actually, is the door gonna close again? Yep, it will. One of the things that Gobi's Valley does is, well, that rose from the ground again. One of the things that Gobi's Valley likes to do is it closes off a lot of doors that you may have opened. Oh god, you again. Only we sand eels can survive in here. We already talked to them. I'm gonna meet you back on top of Jinxie. Alrighty, now that we're back in the air, as you can see, I kind of want to wait for the carpet sometimes, but sometimes it's just faster to climb up Jinxie.
Summon all the hidden rings of the ancients to beat the witch.
Oh, so we're gonna beat the game here, aren't we? I'm not doing this joke. I've seen this joke made on like every other LP of this game where they joke around that you fly through these rings and you're gonna beat Gruntilda. It's like, oh, we're gonna beat the game. And it's a funny joke like the first 10 times, but I'm not gonna make the same joke. Obviously, this isn't gonna work out. It would be kind of dumb if the game just ended here, obviously. I mean, I have to wonder if anybody would believe this. I mean, if you're young enough and you don't know game conventions, like what's conventional for games to do, conventional game design, I guess is what I'm trying to say here, is maybe you might suspect this might work, but this is really just another task for a Jiggy, and I could pretend that and play dumb and go, oh, we're gonna beat the game, but I'm not gonna do that, as I've said. Anyway, I'm not sure exactly what these animals are supposed to be, if these are also supposed to be bears like Banjo, or because they have the same head structure and everything, but yeah, those are bears. Is Jinxie a bear, though? Because he's obviously not a normal Sphinx, and where did that golden statue arise? Actually, one of the reasons you want to do Freeze Easy Peak before you do Gobi's Valley is so that you can get around the world faster with the Beak Bomb, and you can also hurt yourself and nearly fall, so you need to be more careful than I have. Avoid the scarabs, and don't let them wreck you.
Only joking, mortal. We can only give you this.
You changed to British. And that'll pop onto Jinxie's back, and we're just gonna fly back right over there and get it. Actually, even though you can fly around this level, I take back what I said about this being a flying heavy level. We've pretty much done the major flying stuff, aside from one thing. We won't really need to do it more, but it is a convenient way of getting around. And from here, we're gonna go, let's see, where's a fun place to go? We are actually gonna go and learn the last move from Bottles. And when I say the last move, I mean the last move in the game. And it's another fairly sensitive move. These are the running shoes. Beaky wears them on her scrawny feet to make her run really fast for a limited time. Your energy's a little low. I'll fill it up for you. Well played, Banjo. You've now learned all the moves in the game. I like how he said well played, Banjo, but pretty much all of the moves in the game, except for like one or two, are Kazooie's moves. Like, they kind of say this in Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, where they don't get their moves back, and they say Kazooie wants her moves back, but they never say anything about Banjo's moves. So, yeah. I'm a little surprised Kazooie didn't have to say anything there, but yep. This is the last move in the game to learn. As you can see, it makes you run really fast. And that's pretty much it. It makes for some fun sections. It makes for some really fun speed sections. And here we have another hand who's like,
Grandpa's got a jiggy.
and if you're just fast enough, you can just grab it right out of his hand.
No, I've had that 1,000 years. Well done, mortal. Oh.
Poor guy. Actually, those running shoes last a long time, all things considered. But that was Grabba, and we stole his thing. I think you can also steal it from him if you use the Beak Bomb, and I think I may have done that before, but it's a lot harder to aim, because you may have noticed the Beak Bomb, even though it's a lot of fun to do, it's hard to aim properly. Now, we want these boots because we need to get some of the notes in the hazardous area. I will say, they do use these boots a lot in this game. Even though it doesn't feel like they really have to, they sure get their money's worth out of it. Whereas the running shoes, we're not actually going to be using that much. I like the running shoes, I do, but I'm just trying to think of situations where we will be using them, and aside from this world and the next world, and a couple times in Gruntilda's lair, not really all that much. This is what I mean by the moves in these three worlds being much more context sensitive, as opposed to other moves in the game that are just generally more applicable across more moments. And you know what, now that we're just here, I'm just gonna get these notes along this outer edge, just because I can, and may as well while I'm here. You might also notice that there are notes down there and a Mumbo token, but we're not gonna go down there yet. We're gonna wait until we do something else. And that's actually where we're gonna be next, is we're gonna be setting up for whatever we have to do with this thing in the middle. It nearly fell, but we didn't, because I am the greatest, but not really. And of course, we wanna get up these ledges and these awkwardly placed notes that are up on these railings, I guess, for huge people. That's another thing about Banjo-Kazooie, and a lot of platforms I notice, is these worlds seem like they're built for people much bigger, even though the pyramids seem to be from the outside, relative to your size, and I don't even know. Anyway, we got Jinjo hanging out back here, just kind of living his life out. Anyway, oh come on! So that's the last thing we're gonna need to fly for, is in order to get that, that honeycomb piece. We wanna jump on this magic carpet because this is gonna take us over to another Jiggy that we need to deal with. And this Jiggy has to be associated with this character.
It's too hot for Gobi. I need some shade. Please help me.
And he's happy.
Here's your reward, Bear. Gobi's off to cool down.
I mean, even though we're not going to be seeing Bottles much anymore now that we've learned all the moves in the game, I can see that his voice is going to survive on in one way or another. Just going to get these feathers because we've used some of them. So now that we've freed Gobi, we can actually do a couple other things, but we're not going to go and do that just yet. Instead, I'm not going to wait for that thing. I'm not going to wait for the magic carpet. because I am just going to do this. Also, making you wait while the door opens in a cutscene while the timer counts down, that's just kind of rude. Anyway, now that we've come in here, we're going to have a new mini-game to do. Another little puzzle. Now, you might notice these tiles, and you might wonder what you do with them, and you might actually be able to figure this out pretty easily, but these are new enemies. These are called mum-mums. You cannot kill them conventionally. You have to kind of ground pound them. And what we're going to do is, of course, we are going to have a match game, a memory game, where we have to kind of remember where all the tiles are and just flip them all over until we get them all. The timer of 100 seconds is more than enough. Also, if you are a returning player to this game, all of the tiles are actually in the same spots. These are always the same every time you play, and this will be kind of important later, possibly, but it's just something to keep in mind. And it is, I don't really remember them, even though I say, yeah, I've played this game before, but I don't really remember where the individual things are. I know we've gotten a note, though. I think that was up here. Not much to say over this section, really, aside from notes. That was Banjo, so I think the feather was here. No, that's a honeycomb. It was a honeycomb up here. No, that's an egg. Where's an egg? That was a flash game once. Deliberately flash game on homestarrunner.com, where it was like a foreign game that was not translated, so it's hard to figure out what the point of it was, and that was the subject of a strong bad email. And I don't know why I'm talking about this. I'm only talking about this because it's hard to think up commentary for this area. Now, there is a permanent way we could deal with that mum-mum, but I'm not gonna do it right now because I want to I'll show that off in a little bit. Anyway, there's a Kazooie head. Oh god, am I actually going to lose this? I think I might. Oh, I might say, yeah, you have more than enough time to do this. And then, of course, I nearly... Nope! Damn it! And it kicks you back to the start of the world? Well, that's annoying. Did I lose a life? I don't think I lost a life. Well, that's annoying. Well, okay, last thing we're gonna do in this world is before we end off this episode, is I'm going to help him.
This tree looks a bit thirsty, but I need all my water for myself.
Don't be selfish.
Lovely water. Drunker feels great.
Oh my god. How are your nuts indeed? So with that, I think we've made some solid headway into Gobi's Valley. And I think this is gonna make a good pause point for this world. 6 jiggies, only 4 left to go. So if you want to see the rest of Gobi's Valley, then I just hope to see you in the next one, when we finish it up. Bye-bye.